Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. This month marks the 20th anniversary of Safety Systems, providing the best security, safety, and audio-video systems of anyone in East Tennessee. I have used them for more than a decade now. I've known them for almost the full 20, and I recommend you use them too. They are great, whether it's security needs, whether it's home video, audio, even for your conference room in your office. They do it all. Give VFL JJ Surlis a call. Safety Systems. All right. Let's talk about Tennessee staff moves. I'll run through these quickly. David Johnson, running back coach last year, went to Florida State. You know that. Kevin Shearer, we told you last week, inside linebackers coach, went to join Joe Judge's new staff with the New York Giants. This week, Jay Graham comes home again from Texas A&M. Going to be making $575, which is a lot of money. If that's correct. So Jay Graham returns from Texas A&M. He's now your new running backs coach. Brian Niedermeyer apparently will move from tight end to inside linebackers to cover the spot left open by Kevin Shearer. Joe Osavet, who's been sort of a support staff, one of the million guys on the off-field staff, he will move onto the staff, onto the field to become tight ends coach. And then you have at the bottom there Chris Winkie, quarterbacks coach, Tracy Rocker, defensive line coach. Both of those guys, their contracts are up on Friday. So we'll see if let's just throw this out off the top. Winkie and Rocker. Any guesses as to what's going on there? It seems like in the ether sounds like there's a better chance of Winkie returning than Rocker returning for recruiting purposes. I would be leery of moving on from Rocker with what he did with the defensive line last year if he indeed was the guy that handled that and it wasn't somebody else stepping in and making changes around him, do this, do that. Your thoughts on Winkie and Rocker?
It seems to me that you would have probably addressed that issue if they were going to stay. It doesn't mean that you would have. But I think Rocker did a really good job. I look at that defensive line last year. I thought they improved a lot, and they did it with a lot of guys that are not exactly great players or five-star type players. I really thought he did a nice job with that group. But why wouldn't you have dealt with their contract situation now? I don't know. That throws me off a little bit.
Yeah, and you also, if you do lose them, who do you lose them to? I mean, I don't want to lose Tracy Rocker to a competitor like Vanderbilt, where his son's a pitcher and does very well. I mean, just throwing that out there.
That rumor has been out
there.
That
has been out there, yeah. So, I mean, but if you were going to extend it or renew it, like you're saying, it would have already been done.
I would agree there's a better chance Winkie stays than Rocker, but I don't know that anything's a done deal where Rocker's definitely gone. I just haven't heard as much optimism that Rocker is definitely coming back, so we'll see.
Let's talk about Jay Graham's return. Vol fans got their wish. They wanted a VFL. He comes back again. He was here before, and then, he was here under Dooley, correct? Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I running all my 18 coaches together? He was here under Dooley, left when Butch Jones took over, went to work with Jimbo Fisher at Florida State, and has been with him as he went to Texas A&M. He's also been recruiting Zach Evans for a while. Now, Zach Evans wasn't going to go to Texas A&M, so is this a good thing or a bad thing for Tennessee in terms of Zach Evans getting Graham? Or does it matter?
I'd say neither. Jimbo Fisher was actually as personally involved in Evans' recruitment as anybody, so I don't think it's necessarily a huge deal that Graham's there, but another guy he knows.
Thoughts on his return and the money they're paying him? They're giving up a big chunk of cash.
It's good work. Now, things have restructured. You have Joe Osavet being promoted probably at a lower number, and then we'll see what raises come in. Often when we talk about former players coming back as coaches, I think that can be wildly overrated, overstated, and talked about too much. In this case, it is a positive because Jay Graham knows Tennessee, but he's respected as a coach. He's a good recruiter, and that's needed within this staff. So it really just all works out. Him being a VFL, to me, is a bonus to it. Yeah. It's more that he's a good coach and that he has history with Jim Chaney from 2012 and then also was at Florida State with Jeremy Pruitt.
A lot of people were kicking around the name Montario Hardesty, who's receivers coach for Charlotte. No knock on Hardesty. May be a great coach down the road, but as to what you're saying, Graham has a better track record at bigger programs. That's the one I would want, regardless of the VFL status. Graham would make sense if he went to Kentucky or USC or wherever, whereas Hardesty, I get the feeling if they'd hired Hardesty, it would have been because he was a Tennessee guy.
Yeah, I think the quote Jeremy Pruitt used was total package, because he played college, NFL. The salary, there's a couple of offensive coordinators that also coach running backs that make more, but the 575 is probably one in the top 2 or 3.
Well, he was making at least $500,000 at A&M.
Right.
So if you wanted to pry him away, you were going to
Yes.
Probably have to go to that number.
And there'll be some value in that, you would think, in recruiting both in his home state in North Carolina and also in Florida, because he was on the staff at Florida State when they won the national title.
Well, also, I think Tennessee could do a better job, perhaps, of tapping into the Carolinas.
Yes.
I think Jay Graham can help with that because he's from what is it, Kannapolis, North
Concord,
Carolina?
North Carolina.
So I think he can really help in that regard.
And he's
So I
come a
think
long
that-
way from when he was going to be a sports writer at the Seymour newspaper. Just think that.
I'd forgotten that. He was going to write for
Yes,
the,
remember that?
was it the Seymour Herald?
I believe so. Yeah, Tribune something. But it was the Seymour newspaper.
All right, very good. All right. But I know that because that was right about the time we were starting the Sports Source.
Exactly.
In Seymour.
Exactly.
Our first year. And I think he was in, didn't he go to the Canadian Football League for a year? I think
Yeah.
he was in the CFL for a while. I'd forgotten that. I believe I spoke to Jay about joining our show. Boy, did he do the right choice. Wow.
Chuck's making
Well,
about
you pay me $5.75 an hour.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right. When we come back, we got a lot more football. We got a lot of SEC news to talk about that's going to impact Tennessee. But next, Tennessee hosts Alabama. They play Alabama. They host Kentucky this week. We'll talk about those matchups next. Come on back.